All right, it's the holidays. Things are getting crazy. I've been really hectic. I think my brain isn't quite working the way that it should. You mind giving me a reminder about something? I'm having a hard time putting this together.
Okay.
What is that movie where there is a crazed psycho killer that murdered his family that gets locked up and then wants to escape on a major holiday to return back to his home that he grew up in and murder a bunch of teenage girls? What movie is that one? I can't remember. Sounds like
Black Christmas to me. Yeah, that Black Christmas 2006. First thing that comes to mind.
I was thinking Halloween. Like, for some reason in my head, I was like, wait.
What is that? Is that a movie?
Is that a movie? Is that the same one?
I thought that was just a holiday.
Maybe I'm getting it mixed up.
You talk about a Michael Myers.
That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one I was trying to think of. But you know what? That is also Black Christmas 2006, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is.
Which is the subject of today's episode on the newest installment of Dad and Lovely Ho Ho Ho. I am your ho ho host, your good buddy Uncle Ben, and I am joined, as always, by
me, Hollywood Steve, with the sludgiest voice I've ever had.
Is that your lewd phone call voice?
Yeah, this is what I call sorority girls to speak in several different voices. That's one of them.
Nice.
I also got the one where I talk like this.
That's pretty irritating. I'm not sure about that one.
Not a good one.
Damn, man. We're here to be talking about that dang old movie and busting it wide open and busting open a co-beer and all kinds of stuff. If you want to get straight to the movie review portion, there's a timestamp for you in the podcast description. But if you don't kick off them goddamn socks and shoes and have a good time with your boys, you're going to be on the naughty list.
That's
Spoilers.
right.
Spoilers. I'll tell you what, man.
Santa Slay is going to pass you by.
That's right. I'm going to go ahead and crack myself open a beer code. You got a problem with that?
No, go for it.
Well, I'll tell you what this is right here. This is what was gifted to me by the very Roger Dean Miller the last time that I seen him in Nashville, Tennessee. He gave me this very rare, very hard to come by, Wake Up Worldwide Stout by the fine folks over at Dogfish Head. Okay. Now, this thing right here is a monster. I'm trying to see. Okay. I don't think it has the ABV listed on it, but it's like 14-15%. It's massive. Yeah. It is let's see here, it's got maple syrup, it's got cinnamon, it's got some cold brew coffee, it's got all kinds of things in here, and it promises to maybe knock me plumb square on my ass. I might be plumb shit-faced off this one beer. What do you think about that?
I kind of like to see that.
Well, maybe we find out about
it. Yeah.
Boy, it is dark. It's got a little effervescence to it. Ooh, it smells delightful. It's dank. It's dark. It's got a little bit of that roasty coffee kind of flavor. Let's just dip a whisker in it and maybe find out.
Yeah.
You want to?
Yeah, I'd like to hear what it tastes like.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Tastes like wow.
Holy moly. It's like wow. That's what that song is about. It's like wow. That's incredible. It is so rich and like bittersweet dark chocolatey. It really has the flavor of like a really good, 90% cacao kind of chocolate. Very bitter. Also, the alcohol is incredibly masked, and it's not even that sweet. Like, it really has that bittersweet flavor without being too cloyingly heavy, but it's still somehow chock full of alcohol.
It's 14 to 15% for a beer. Yowza. And you can't really taste it. That's
insane.
That is.
That's a beer what drinks like a wine's what that is right there.
Yeah, for sure.
You been whining lately. How's that turning out for you?
Oh, great. I just bottled a pink Moscato that I made for Anna because she has this brand of wine she loves that's from Aldi, and it's only sold at Aldi, and there are no Aldis out here. So I looked it up, found out like where they got their grapes from and stuff, and made my approximation of it. And she said pretty close. And it tastes real good. So I'm excited to have it after it's aged in the bottle a little bit. because it still had a little bit of a young taste to it, a little bit of that like new wine taste. But after it sits for a little while, I think it's going to be nice and jammy and delicious.
Well, look out right there, man. Usually I find a Moscato to be too much on the sweet side for myself because I'm sweet enough as it is. But sometimes if you're having like a really hot and spicy Thai meal, sometimes that can work.
Yeah, for sure. But this Moscato went pretty dry. And when I went to back sweeten it, I didn't end up adding much. I added about 2 grams for every 100. So really not a lot of sweetness. It's got a lot of natural fruit flavors to it that are coming through that kind of... I'm enjoying very much and have to stop myself from drinking so that Anna can enjoy it on her birthday.
Oh my, man. Hey, you remember last week on the show I was talking about like my sleep troubles and so on?
Yeah,
Well, I've been getting some good sleep, partially because of some shit that Kate ordered online. Did I tell you about that fucking magical hot chocolate?
No. What's this all about?
So she got advertised this shit like right as I was sleeping bad because the phone was listening to us being like, he's not sleeping good. Sell him something.
Right.
Not a sponsor. It's this company called Beam, B-E-A-M. Now, I used to use Beam to fall asleep in the form of Jimmy Beam. You know what I mean?
Right.
Getting plumb drunk on corn whiskey. But this stuff is called Beam, and it's like a hot chocolate powder that you mix up with milk or water, and it doesn't have sugar in it, sweetened with like monk fruit. So it has a little bit of that, stevia kind of taste, which is okay, but it's like chocolate and cinnamon, and it's also got like some kind of magical like calming mushroom blend in there, as well as like CBD and like a little melatonin.
Yeah.
Dude, it is a cup of rest. I will tell you what. That shit is amazing.
That sounds great.
It is.
You just like have it a little bit before you want to go to bed, and
that's right.
Off you trot, huh?
I usually just put a straw in it on my nightstand, and I fall asleep suckling on it. It's a crazy straw. It's real long.
Yeah.
And I just drink on it all night.
Loops. Yeah.
Because every time I snore and I go, shoo, weep, 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 I pull a little bit out of there, That's how I snore.
So it keeps you asleep.
Exactly. Yeah, all night long till it runs out. Then I wake right up.
It's great.
Yeah, works good. So if you're having trouble getting some of them wintertime sleeps, check you out a Beam. Get your pull.
Yeah, for sure. I take melatonin, and the thing that I always forget is you're supposed to take it a couple hours before you want to go to sleep.
Hours? Dude, it kicks in fast on your boy.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I have like the dissolve under tongue ones, so maybe they work fast. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that is the better way to go for sure. I got some gummies, but yeah, okay. I'll tell you what, melatonin helps a lot. Definitely helps me feel rested the next day. I don't know how much it helps me get to sleep. I think I'm just tired already, but I feel like the sleep is more restful because of melatonin.
Dude, the only problem is whenever you do melatonin and it knocks your ass out, if you have to like get up in the middle of the night to like let the dog out in an emergency or something, it is like you're under sedation. It is so hard. It's for you like feel sludgy, like
Absolutely.
It's the last time you want somebody in the household to have like an emergency fucking heart attack or stroke or something. I'd be useless, man. Do you get the crazy dreams on melatonin? Sometimes I do.
I did when I first started taking it, but that was years ago. I've been taking it consistently since, and I honestly, I think the only dreams I ever remember are the crazy dreams. So
okay,
yeah, like I don't ever really remember the mundane stuff. I had this dream the other night that I went to check my phone, like next to me on the nightstand, and when I grabbed it, like I pulled the cord, and the cord pulled out of the wall, and like kept pulling like along the wall up the ceiling, and it was like this horrendous anxiety dream where I was like, fuck, how am I gonna pay for this?
That's amazing. Dude, the worst one I had recently was like last week whenever I was having all that trouble sleeping. There was one night that I didn't fall asleep until like 6 a.m, right? And I woke up at 8:30 after that. And I woke up from a dream in which I was sitting up in bed watching the sunrise because I wasn't sleeping. It was so insulting. It was like, God damn it. I woke up from a dream in which I wasn't even rested. It was so lame. Like, fuck you, brain.
For real?
Yes.
Why
the worst.
Why do our brains hate us like this?
Intelligent design, my fucking ass, man. Stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
the most basic thing you need to do to replenish your fucking life force. Maybe I just won't let you do it tonight, jerk.
Yeah, maybe tonight it'll be hard to put your brain into a crazy unconscious state that for some reason keeps us from going insane.
Yeah, but then like the very next day, it'll be like, oh, you've worked a fucking 12-hour shift at work and you're really tired and the sun is down, but you're driving your car home. Might be about time to go to bed. Like, what the fuck?
Hit the
God
old
damn it,
dusty
brain.
trail.
Yeah, no, I'm busy. I am busy. Shit. Drives me crazy. We had a dang old Thanksgiving this week, didn't we?
Yeah. I certainly gave thanks for food. Not, as I have said in the past, I love a Thanksgiving because of the cooking and the food. I certainly don't celebrate pilgrims coming over here.
What?
The assholes that the English were like, God, just go.
Oh man!
No, I don't-
without
don't care
them,
for them.
you'd be back in jolly old England or something, eating beans and mushrooms for breakfast. Whatever.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Beans and mushrooms for breakfast. What are y'all doing?
Why? Why? What are you doing?
Anyway, we had a Friendsgiving celebration, and I volunteered for like everything because I love
you're Bob from Bob's Burgers.
Because I'm Bob from Bob's Burgers. So I made a turkey, I made dinner rolls, I made mashed potatoes and gravy, I made a pumpkin pie and a pumpkin cheesecake.
I didn't have a pumpkin pie at all this year, dude.
What?
None.
Okay, listen here. You can still make pumpkin pie. It's still acceptable.
I think I should, dude.
Yeah,
I think I should.
Go check out Preppy Kitchen's pie crust and pumpkin pie recipe. I followed that with a little like adjustment from a Clara Saffitz video I saw for like the pumpkin spice and some other stuff. But the crust was the best I've ever made. Like, it was nice and browned on the bottom and not soggy at all inside. Like, oh,
hell yeah,
so good. The cheesecake was amazing, like just so good. But that turkey, man, I'll tell you what. I followed a Bon Appetit video for maple butter glazed turkey.
Oh my god! What?
And it ended up so juicy and delicious. Of course, I like spatchcocked it, cut it all up. I listen. I'm telling you right now, if all you're doing is opening up the bird, that's cool. But I'll tell you what you do. You cut them wings off, detach the thighs, get rid of every excess bit that you know people aren't going to eat.
Yeah.
And use that for stock. And you're going to have
some good parts, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're going to have the turkey. It has the most possible like heat getting to the meat so you can get it done quickly while also keeping it nice and moist, especially if you do a wet brine or a dry brine. I did a dry brine because it just didn't have the time to do the wet brine. But man, I'll tell you what, it was succulent, delicious, amazing. And boy, I'll tell you what, every year the gravy is my favorite thing. I outdid myself this year. It was like half a bottle of wine reduced in there, like 6 cups of fresh made turkey stock, and it ended up like so perfect. And then I had this like, I don't know, maybe about half to a cup worth left at the end, and I was trying to figure out what to do with it, and I ended up making a curry with it, and it was so good. A turkey curry. It was awesome. So,
I bet it makes sense because it's got like a naturally, stronger flavor than chicken, which we usually use in curry. So I'm sure that it was fine, man. So I'm glad that your gravy turned out good and all. But listen, was it worth it? Because if you put all that wine in there, you just sent all your fucking Thanksgiving guests straight to hell.
Well, yeah, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to hide.
Oh, cool. You want company?
Yeah, yeah. I was putting drugs in everything, shrooms in the mashed potatoes.
A dash of premarital sex in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure. I keep premarital sex in the cupboard just to throw into everything.
Just a dash of this, dash of that.
Yeah. Listen,
nice.
It really adds that umami flavor. Ew.
Yeah. Ooh, mommy. Ooh, daddy.
Ooh, daddy. Yeah.
That sounds pretty great, man.
Yeah, it was great. How was yours?
It was good, man. It was good. You know, we had a big old Southern family holiday meal with my wife's family, which is great. And that, of course, includes a ham and 2 turkeys and like 5 desserts, none of which were pumpkin pie, now that I think about it. My mother-in-law made a great pecan pie, which is really fantastic.
Well, that's awesome, yeah.
But yeah, like no pumpkin pie. How weird is that? Huh. But it was a good time. Had a lot of wine, played a lot of cards. And, you know, honestly, most importantly, got to spend a day with Oma, with Kate's mom's mom, the mega matriarch of the family who came over here from Germany after the war, after she endured an absolutely insane young life over there living through the war. And it's important we spend a day with her, man, because just yesterday she passed away. Just a few days after Thanksgiving, she unexpectedly passed away. She had a few days in hospital last week with like some fluid on her lungs and stuff, and she kind of perked back up, and then just lost her pretty suddenly. 95 years old, man. I mean, a hell of a long life, and I can't say enough about Oma, dude. Like she was absolutely fucking incredible. Anybody that met her knows her, remembers her, loved her, would ask me about her, like always checking in. How's Oma doing?
Yeah.
We really thought that she would outlive all of us. I really thought that, she'd be fucking pouring the dirt on my gravestone one day and just be immortal. It's pretty insane, man. But she truly, truly is an incredible person, man. I mean, the things that she endured, and then coming over here to America and losing her husband and raising 4 children on her own in a foreign land where she didn't even fucking know the language. Yeah. The strength and the determination that woman showed is just unbelievable, man. She was truly, truly a treasure, a great example of what a grandparent should be. I grew up without grandparents, so whenever I got to know Kate and her family, Oma was kind of a great example to me of like what a grandparent could be, and was a surrogate grandmother to me, as well as Kate's dad's mom as well. Yeah. So showed me the meaning of what it means to be a great grandparent, and was just a lovely human being, man. She will definitely be missed, but I'm so thankful that we got to spend all that time with her, dude. 95 years. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. I mean, boy, not a lot of people make it that far.
Hell no, dude. Nobody in my family makes it that far, and they didn't even live through World War II, dude.
Right? Yeah. No,
but man,
I can't imagine.
That poor thing. Like we still don't really know everything that she went through in the war, because obviously that wasn't something she liked to talk about very much. Right. But it definitely impacted her and stayed with her entire life. But she and her family had their apartments bombed twice. Like just come home and their entire building is firebombed and destroyed. She was forced to work on a Nazi work camp on a farm for years. And she would, after working God knows how many hours a day, feeding animals and picking vegetables and all this, she would sneak whatever rotten, unwanted produce that she could. It was like 3 miles away to a barn. To her mother and brother, her brother who was mentally handicapped and thus a target for extermination by the Nazis. Wow. She would sneak them food in the middle of the night and then walk all the way back to the farm in the middle of the night to wake up and do it again the next day. I mean, the stuff she lived through is unreal, Wow. I always say, when you think about World War II and you see all the black and white footage, and it seems like that was Middle Earth. Like that seems like that was so impossibly long ago.
Such a distant time, yeah.
Yeah, but then, I just spent 22, 23 years knowing somebody who was there firsthand, living in that shit in fucking Berlin, like in the heart of that shit. It's pretty amazing, man. Pretty amazing. So I'll always be so happy that I got to know Oma. She was truly one of a kind, incredible person. I will never know anybody as tough as that fucking woman. Nobody. Wow. Nobody is as close to as tough as her.
Yeah. Man, R.I.P. I certainly met her a few times at various parties, and she was always a fun person to have a discussion with.
She was great. Totally amazing. So she'll be missed, man. But yeah, on the bright side, we had time to watch a thing or two. Of course, it is the time of year in which I engage in my annual Lord of the Rings watching, of course.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Now, last year, during the holiday season, I tried to become bored of the rings, as I started saying.
Right. Uh-huh.
I watched through the trilogy and just left it on as I was, milling around the house or whatever, as many times as I could last year, as many times as humanly possible.
Right.
Still did not get tired of it. It was like a week before Thanksgiving, and I was like, man, I'm really itching to start Fellowship right now. I was just dying to watch it. So, actually, this year, we did a little prequel action. We watched the animated The Hobbit from the 70s.
Cool. Yeah. How was it?
Dude, it's pretty fucking rad. The animation is beautiful. It succinctly tells that tale, unlike the 3-movie fucking arc that we were treated to several years ago. Succinctly tells the story, beautiful animation. And I don't think I'd put it together that the singing and songs and kind of the narrative songs that go through the whole thing were definitely the inspiration for Lemmy Winks on South Park.
Yes. Yeah.
Like straight up, like every time that dude started singing, I was like, it's Lemmy Winks all the way.
Yeah, it scared me as a kid, that Hobbit.
Yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't think I ever watched it, but yeah, I remember seeing bits and pieces of it, and it made me feel really weird.
Yeah, I think I rewatched it when I was like 20 or something, and I was like, I see why I was like scared of this. Like it certainly has like all the things that a child would be scared of. The animation itself, like it's just a little weird, a little too good, I think, at times.
I know,
for a
right?
little kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when I watched it when I was older, I was like, oh yeah, this is just good. But I could see why I was scared of it as a kid.
Hell yeah, man. It was a good watch. Enjoyed it. It's on the HBO right now if you want to go and watch it again. And also watched through Fellowship of the Ring. Went ahead and started the trilogy off. And guess what? Still a 10. Still a fucking 10.
Yeah. Do they still have your bow and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. Yep. There's a little bit of that in there.
Good.
God damn. The best. I'll never get tired of them. The peak achievement of human history. The Lord of the Rings movies. Fucking love it.
Certainly the peak achievement of New Line Cinema. Like, definitely like the best thing they ever made. And they made a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, man. So other than a big-ass skankbanger show we had the other day, that's about it for me, man. That show was fucking incredible. We had a very special guest vocalist with us for that show.
Okay.
Brett Carlisle, who's the current singer for Great White and Great White from the 80s. He's a young dude, and he's their new singer. He's also got his own band called All or Nothing, which is really fucking rad. And, dude, this guy is a fucking rock star. Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Did you bust out Once Bitten, Twice Shy?
Of course we did.
Hell
and
yeah.
It was fantastic. And to
Good.
make it even better... It was so fucking Spinal Tap. This show had so many Spinal Tap moments. Like, our intro music was like loaded up wrong and went through like 4 or 5 songs before our intro music actually started. And then like before we played Once Bitten, Andy Wood did this big intro about like, hey, we got a special guest on stage right now. He's the singer of Great White. I know he knows this one. And we start playing the song. And Brett just happened to totally fucking brain fart and forget the first lyric of the song. So the intro is just going. And he comes over to me and whispers in my ears like, what's the first lyric? I'm fucking blanking, man. What's the first lyric? It was incredible. I mean, of course, we all really just laugh it off and play it off. And it seems like a bit to the crowd. That's the fun thing about Skankbanger and how over the top and ridiculous it all is anytime something fails, people think we did it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
So fun, man. But that guy is a goddamn monster. I want to work with him so much more on, with Skankbanger as well as my own projects. Amazing dude, amazing singer. So very stoked on that.
That's awesome.
What have you been watching?
Oh, man. We have been watching a good bit of things. We finished out that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle franchise, and the Hell Rankers is up. I'll tell you what, though. That brand new one, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Mutant Mayhem that came out this year.
The Seth Rogen one and all that?
Yeah, you need to see it.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm dying to watch it. It actually just it popped up the other day, and I was like, wait, why haven't I watched this? I've heard nothing but good about it.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what. I watched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse this week too. And, which is monumental achievement. Just beautiful movie. So gorgeous. I was on LSD while I was watching it, which heightened the experience.
I would say so. Jesus.
But Mutant Mayhem, while not to the same level of artistry, has a great aesthetic and some really cool stuff. I've seen people have complained about the humans being ugly, and it's like, honestly, they look like people. Like they all look different. Like that's something you don't really get in a lot of animated movies, that the people all like have a distinct look.
That's true. Yeah, a lot of times the animation style kind of overrides individuality when it comes to character design. Yeah.
So I liked it, and also like one of my complaints, like I don't want to spoil the Hell Rankers in any way, but one of my complaints about theatrically released Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies has been always that it's just like Shredder. Like there's so many villains in the pantheon of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villains.
That's
like,
true. Yeah.
Why has Shredder been the villain in 5 out of 7 theatrically released movies? And only one time did we get Bebop and Rocksteady, and that's in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which you should also watch. Even though it's the sequel to a movie that is not good, that movie itself worth a watch.
Okay, cool.
But this movie, Mutant Mayhem, had so many of their cool villains that I remembered from the cartoons and the toys and stuff, and great voice cast and stuff. Definitely worth a watch.
Did it have that giraffe that played basketball in it?
No, I was looking for him though.
What about the guy that was made of garbage and had the banana on his nose?
No, garbage guy wasn't there either.
I love that guy, dude.
Yeah,
I had
he
that
was
action
cool.
figure and I loved it.
Yeah, he was awesome. Do you remember the pizza chef guy?
Fuck yeah, the pizza chef guy rules.
He had that like huge cleaver. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
Big old pizza cleaver.
So yeah, we watched also, as I said, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, monumental achievement. Check it out if you haven't. Watched The Beach Bum, which is a kind of a stoner sort of comedy with Matthew McConaughey. It's got Matthew McConaughey, Snoop Dogg, and other people you'll recognize. What's her name? Crap. Is it Amy Adams? No, it's
She's
not
a
Amy
person.
Adams.
That's a human.
No, it's what's her name? She's married to Sacha Baron Cohen. She's so cute. She's in Hot Rod.
Oh, Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher. That's it. Yes. Yeah. So
Island
anyway,
Fisher.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It wasn't what we expected. It wasn't exactly a stoner comedy so much as like, it's a comedy drama type of thing. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. Except for Jonah Hill's character, which he seemed to be doing a very racist accent.
Oh no.
The whole time. It's very uncomfortable every time he's on screen. Yeah. Yeah. Odd. And also watched John Wick Chapter 4 just last night.
Oh, dude, fuck yeah.
So good.
You never watched it before, right?
No, yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, loved it. It was great. It's gorgeous.
It's just as good as the other ones, right?
Yes, 100%. I had a blast. Enjoyed every bit of it.
Fuck.
I don't want to spoil it. I guess it's kind of still new, but like, yeah, the whole thing. So much fighting. So like the pace is great. It doesn't feel like almost 3 hours.
Nope.
I very much enjoyed it.
What about that stair fight scene? Were you not like just winded after watching that? I was.
Oh man,
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great. I definitely like. There was nothing holding me back except the run time. And finally we just had the time and we were like, let's do it. And well worth it. Great movie.
Same. We kind of put it off for a long time because it's like, when do we have this much time to watch a movie? But then as soon as we did, we were like, this is the fucking shit, man.
Yeah,
okay,
this is great.
I'm just saying, if you Dead and Lovelies would want us to do John Wick for our Wild Card Christmas episode, I fucking would.
Dude,
I would.
That's
I'd do John Wick.
Great call. I would love to do John Wick over the next 4 years.
Like
That's awesome.
over the course of the show, we initially did a couple of Christmas adjacent movies like Home Alone or Die Hard.
Yeah, huh?
We've done the Lord of the Rings trilogy, of course. But I want to hear from you guys what you all want us to do. Like, if you guys would like to hear us John Wick, let us know. If there's something else totally random or, Christmassy, whatever, just let us know on the Facebook group what you would like to hear. I would be very curious to know.
Yeah, that, because, we haven't come to anything definitive yet. And we got a couple weeks, and it's like, what do you want to hear?
Maybe we wick it up. Wick it up! Maybe we're plumb Wiccans. Maybe that's what John Wick fans are called, is Wiccans.
Yes, I love that.
I'm a Wiccan.
People are Wiccan.
Like, so you like crystals and sage and stuff, and you're like, no. And then you punch them with a gun. No, gun punch.
Gun punch.
I kick a gun at you.
He throws a gun at a guy and hits him in the head, and it's awesome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. John Wick. God, such a good fucking franchise.
Also watched Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Which one?
The remake one that came out.
Okay, yeah. I liked it, but I thought it was long.
It was long. It was fine. I didn't like I can't remember it well. Like, it really was just like, it kind of went through me, but it was like, I'm enjoying myself while watching this. Jack Black's performance was great. He really, really brought the teenage girl energy, I think. You know what?
Yeah,
he and Vince Vaughn should do a movie where they just play teenage girls.
Amazing.
And there's no explanation.
Do it,
yeah. It's not like their body switched or anything.
No.
They're teenage girls.
I'm on board for that. I would watch that.
Yeah. And on Friday night, on the Screaming Chat, we watched a movie called Night Watchman, which is a Russian movie that rips off the other Russian movie, Night Watch.
Yeah, I was going to say, so like Night Watch, but it's not that one?
No, but it rips it off. It was actually okay, honestly. If you have seen Night Watch, you know that, like, especially the American version, a little confusing. Story isn't, like, fully cohesive. But if you do see the Russian version, it makes more sense. But this, it was okay. I didn't hate it, honestly. And I think if maybe I had watched it just on its own and found it, I would probably be like, pretty okay Russian vampire movie. But it's also pretty dumb. Like, very much ripping off a lot of other vampire movies. So, whatever. Yeah. And then on Sunday night, we watched a movie called Holly Blood, which was a Spanish vampire movie. And the title is real irritating because, it looks like it would rhyme with Hollywood.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But it doesn't.
I was just thinking that as you said it. I was like, that probably looks cool in print.
Yeah.
Because you see it and you're thinking Hollywood, but as soon as you say it, you're not saying Holly Blood.
No. So it sounds dumb. It sounds like, well, what does the holly have to do with this?
I would think that was like a Christmas vampire movie. It was Holly Blood.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. But no.
That's shot, dude.
It's kind of a Spanish horror comedy, but the comedy is... like,
it's Spanish comedy, so it's all about paella,
They
all
really,
about paella.
You know what? They skimped on the paella jokes, and that might be my problem with it.
Oh, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Damn. They blew it.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I've been watching.
Man, this beer is fucking incredible. Like, every sip I have, I'm blown away. Like, this is one of the best stouts I have ever had. It's phenomenal.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
That's a 10.
That's saying a lot, because we've tried a lot of great stouts on the show and just had a lot of great stouts out and about. This is the best. You
would love this.
I guarantee you. Yeah, it sounded like everything you were saying was right up my alley with the like bitter chocolate flavor and stuff.
Oh yeah, it is good. It's also getting deep in my bloodstream. I can feel its alcoholic effects coursing through my veins.
Good. That's what you want it to do, I think, right?
I could probably use that. Use that, man.
Wouldn't hurt.
Well, I'll tell you what, the subject of today's show, it's got a lot of people in it. It's got a lot of people, what's women. It's got a lot of women, what's brunette. It's got a lot of one woman, what's brunette. What's a Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
This is the best transition ever.
Thank you. I think so. Mm-hmm. Maybe we talk about her film career and if she's a winner-stead or a loser-stead in some of these movies in the Preview Palace. I don't know.
Welcome to the Preview Palace.
It is what it is, guys. We're both on a really tight time schedule.
Right,
I'm trying to
so
cram in tons of work today because of the impending funeral and family coming in and all that jazz. So we're tight on time. Win-stead or lose-stead? That's the name of the game.
That's right. So we went through her IMDb and I found the movies that Ben has watched, and we will discuss whether it's a winner or a loser. That's right. Win-stead or lose-stead.
Win-stead or lose-stead, man. Now, one that we have, I think, talked about on the show, right, is her role in a dang old Final Destination, the third.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that one, I think,
Which
earlier
one
this year.
is it? Is it the one that has the carnival at the first?
Yes.
I think it is.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
the roller coaster one.
Mm-hmm. That's right. I remember now.
So, I mean, for me, the Final Destination 3 is the best of the Final Destination series. It's the one I like the most. It's probably the one I would say is actually a good movie in comparison to all the other ones. So for me, it's a Win-stead.
I tend to agree. I cannot argue that whatsoever. If you've listened to the Final Destination episodes, I am a total, nostalgia sucker for stuff around that era. It reminds me of being a young man, of being a young person.
And I want to beat up the 2000s.
Yeah, you want to
get into a fist fight with them.
Mm-hmm. So it works for the both of us. It is the best of the Final Destination movies, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. It's it's got the tanning bed death, which is one of the best. Yeah,
awesome.
And a lot of other cool deaths, but also Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who it doesn't matter if the movie's good. She's always good. She is always good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's a good one, and she is a good one in that movie, in that shitty ass franchise that I still do guilty pleasure enjoy for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
That's a fun one, man. That's a fun.
Yeah.
So that's a Win-stead for sure.
That's a Win-stead. What about a little movie from 2007 called A Death Proof?
A Death Proof as part of A Grind Horse?
Yeah, as part of Grind Horse.
Man.
it was a glue making enterprise that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino started.
With their film production company Gloomhouse. G-L-U-E-M. Gloomhouse. Gloomhouse. He's Gloom.
Gloomhouse is pretty great.
It's pretty cool, and it's all about melting horses into glue.
That's how they
a horse
do it.
About it.
You just take a horse and you put it into a pot and you turn it on and it melts into a puddle of glue.
That's right. It's not horror, it's horse roar. Horse roar movies.
Horse roar.
Gloomhouse horse horror.
By the way, Horse Girl, starring Allison Brie, is Horse Roar. Horse Roar.
Is it?
Yeah, there you go. Check that out.
I love Allison Brie, so I probably should.
Yeah, she's great. She's so good.
Probably should.
But Death Proof. I mean, we got a whole cast of lovely women. The whole idea is like, it's these four hot chicks, and they get harassed by evil man Kurt Russell.
They sure do rustle him up, I'll tell you this.
Yeah, they do, and it's great when they do. And she gets left behind with the creepy guy. That
she
Mary
sure
Elizabeth
does.
Winstead. Yeah, she does.
I think this is the first thing I saw her in, and she's like the cheerleader character in that.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And it's so fucking goddamn great. Like her character in it is a bit overshadowed by Zoe Bell and some of the other characters that are in the movie. But holy fuck, man, it is so fucking good. I love Grindhouse. I love Death Proof.
Yeah, definitely a Win-stead.
Absolutely, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
God damn. Love it so much, man.
This one also came out in 2007. I'm more iffy on this one. Live Free or Die Hard.
Okay, it's been a long time since I've seen this one.
Yeah.
I want to say that Kevin Smith wrote it. Is that right?
Ooh, I don't know. I had not
Wait,
heard.
I might be
who
thinking
wrote
of Cop Out with Bruce Willis. That's what
You are thinking of Cop Out with Bruce
Scratch
Willis.
that. I'm a podcaster. I'm a professional. I know what's up. I know what's going on. Listen
Yeah.
to me. I know movies.
I think he's
Jumps.
in Live Free or Die Hard now that I think about it, though.
You know what? That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Yes.
So
he is a
yeah, you
character.
were not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a
Take
podcaster.
that,
I'm not wrong.
everybody. Unless he's not in it, in which case, sorry, everybody.
I think he is, though. I'm pretty sure he is.
He is. I just checked. Yeah, he's absolutely in it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember
yeah,
liking it pretty good. Like, it was one of those movies I remember watching in the theater and being like, this did not need to be John McClane Die Hard. Like, this just
Right.
could have been any action movie and it would have been fine. But they just, made it a Die Hard movie to sell more tickets.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And like, while she's great in it, I don't really love any of the Die Hard sequels. I don't love them. Some of them I like, but I don't love them.
But dude, the OG is just...
The OG is 10. Yeah, we talked about it years ago. It's
nothing
a
to fuck with.
wonderful movie. Yeah. So for me, Live Free or Die Hard, I'm gonna say Lose-stead.
Okay. It's been so long that it's an I don't know stead for me. It's been so long.
Gotcha.
I don't know. There's no way it comes close to the original, though.
No, it definitely doesn't touch that at all.
She was also in the sequel to this, right? The sequel to the sequel.
I think only in the one version of it. Like she's
Good
not
Day
in
to Die Hard.
Right? Yeah, I don't think she's in it long. That's the Justin Long one, right?
I am seriously trying to remember anything about that movie. I want to say that I saw it. I mean, the fact that I think I may have seen it, but I don't remember, probably tells you everything.
Yeah, probably so. I don't think I've seen it at all. So I can't. I'm gonna say Stead. Just staying
Stead.
in the middle.
Overall,
Stead, yeah.
Don't know.
Don't
the best
know.
Die Hard sequel is Hostage.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
That is the best Die Hard sequel. Yeah. What about have you seen a Scott Pilgrim Versa World?
I have not, but I've had a whole
Okay.
lot of people tell me that I should see it. Do you think it's one that I should check out?
I don't know. I mean, the anime just came out.
Yeah,
and,
just come out, right.
Anna and I had just kind of she had never seen it, and I was rewatching it for the first time. Take a shot. And hasn't seen Scott Pilgrim until recently. And when we watched it, it was like, oh, Scott Pilgrim is an adult man dating a high schooler.
Not into that.
That's weird. But it's an Edgar Wright film, and of course, it's very creative, and like the fight scenes are still really cool and whatnot. And you got people in there who are giving great performances. I think Chris Evans is really cool in it. Like, I'd say for me, it's a Win-stead.
Okay. I need to watch it. That's one of those ones that I know, people love. I've had so many people tell me I need to check it out, but I've just never gotten around to, and I really don't know why.
I mean, I wouldn't rush. Though I'm sure some people listening are like, I love Scott Pilgrim. For me,
Rush to see it.
Yeah, whatever. And you haven't seen The Thing 2011, which
No,
if you ever do see it, just know every time you're seeing shitty CGI, there was a real practical effect made for that, and they just got rid of it and used shitty CGI instead.
Ugh.
Why? But she's good in it. It's actually okay, but not great. 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Ooh, so good, man.
So good.
Fantastic. Blows away the original. The original Cloverfield,
Yeah.
I think, is pretty cool, but 10 Cloverfield Lane is phenomenal. Fucking John
Yeah.
Goodman in there. Come on.
He's so good. He is so good. Yeah, I think without a doubt that's a Win-stead. Not even tough.
Absolute Win-stead, man. Man,
Yeah.
that's one we've not done on the show. We've not done Cloverfield, have we?
No, we should. We should definitely do it at some point.
Like, I'm not really that into that movie, but I would love to do Cloverfield Lane.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love the way that whole movie plays it so straight and in the pocket, and then it's kind of like at the end of the movie, it's like, oh, this is related to Cloverfield. So cool.
Yeah. And then there's the third one, the Cloverfield Paradox.
I didn't see that one. I remember it's all like timey-wimey and shit, right?
It's in space too. Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. But
it's about like dude's like brother who's an astronaut or some shit, right?
Yeah. And 10 Cloverfield Lane, Win-stead for sure.
Okay.
And last one that I know you have seen, A Birds of Prey.
Yeah, that's right. She's in there.
Yeah, we got our Harley Quinn. We got her as Huntress. The first time I watched it, I was like, it's fine. And then the second time I watched it, I was like, this is fun. This is a fun movie.
Agree.
And what's his name? Oh, Obi-Wan as Black Mask. Oh, Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he's great, man.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's so shitty and like hateable, but so good at doing it, right?
Yeah.
It is really good, man. I had the same reaction as you. The first time that we saw it when it was in theaters, I was like, and Kate loved it. She was like, this is fucking great. This is a really awesome movie. I don't know what it was that held me back about it, that I didn't love it the first time.
I don't know either.
The second time that I watched it at home and gave it, a fair shot, I loved it, man. And we've watched it like 100 times since then. It's really, really awesome.
Yeah, it is. So that's a Win-stead for sure.
Hell
I'm going to
yeah,
recommend some to you that I know you haven't seen.
Okay.
Some other Win-stead. From 2014, there's a movie called Faults. It's not a horror movie, I don't guess. It's a deprogramming movie, so it's got cult stuff going on. So,
ooh, I love cult stuff.
Yeah. So Faults is really worth watching.
Cool.
As you said, you haven't seen The Thing 2011. Might be worth a shot.
I want to, just because I want more mythology surrounding that movie.
Yeah.
I just got to edit out those shitty special effects in my head.
Right, exactly. But one other thing that I would recommend is season 3 of Fargo. She is so good in it, and she and Ewan McGregor are on screen a lot together, and they're very good, and they're married now, so obviously have some chemistry. Yeah.
Nice. I've heard so much good stuff about Fargo. I don't know why I've not got around to watching it. Like I feel so overwhelmed with the amount of TV series.
Oh yeah,
and
I understand that.
To watch.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, it's hard to just pick one. But Fargo season 5 just started, which is why it was in my head that I really enjoyed that season. I've liked all the seasons. I'm very interested because I know John Hamm is in this newest season, so I'm interested in watching the new season. But yeah, I think she was so good in season 3, and season 3 also has David Thewlis. And he's great. Yeah. He is creepy in it. Such a great performance.
Hell yeah. I need to check it out, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, there we go. Win-stead or Lose-stead. Maybe you can give us your opinions on her greatest and not greatest roles over on our Facebook group.
That's
it's
right.
The only reason to be on Facebook. It is Planet Cancer. It's the worst. It is not helping you stay in touch with your family and friends. You have their phone numbers if you care about them. You're not staying in touch with them better because of Facebook.
No.
But you can stay in touch with us and your fellow dead and lovelies over there. So join up today, sign up, hang out with everybody that's as cool as you are.
Hell yeah.
Now, let's talk about the subject of today's show. One Black Xmas 2006. Now, a long time ago, many moons ago on the show, we covered the OG, the Margot Kidder joint.
Yeah,
and we had a lot of good things to say about it.
Yeah, one of the best slashers of all time. One of my favorite horror movies, like well up there on the list. And definitely, I think, one of the best Christmas horror movies ever made.
Yeah, completely agree. It is a really ahead of its time slasher.
Yeah.
In a lot of people's opinion, the first true slasher movie, ahead of Halloween. And we had a lot of good things to say about it. Now, several years ago, I watched the what was it, 2019? 2019.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Update to this, and just universally, it sucks. Like, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's awful.
It's not good. It's not good at all.
It feels like you had your boomer parents write a movie from the perspective of what they think millennial liberals talk about, sound like, whatever.
Yeah, it does.
It sucks so bad.
Yeah, it feels like Twitter became a movie. It's not fun. Yeah, but
I've never seen this one, so
yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect out of it. I remember you saying that you had liked it and that it was way better than 2019.
Oh, absolutely.
So I wasn't really sure what to expect. We watched a trailer for it the other night, and the trailer had all kinds of cool stuff in it.
That's
some
not
of
in
which
the movie.
wasn't in the movie.
Not in the movie at all. Yeah.
More on that as we go.
Uh-huh.
So I was stoked to check this out, and so I just watched it for the first time. When did you see this for the first time?
A while back when I was just trying to watch every Christmas horror movie. I think, if somebody has a great memory of the show, you'll remember when I talked about it the first time. So it's been within the time that we've been running this here show. And I remember when I saw it, I was like, this is giallo. I'm watching a giallo film. And I had a good time with it. And then rewatched it a few years later, and I was like, man, this is good. I like this movie. And then we sat down and watched the unrated cut. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think this might be a great Christmas movie, a great Christmas horror movie. I love it. And everything that they were trying to do with it, what Glenn Morgan's vision of it, if we had ended entirely with the movie they wanted to do, would have been maybe one of the best Christmas horror movies of all time. It's not that, because there was interference from the Weinsteins, and that's why the ending kind of feels off in the pacing and stuff, and tacked on, yeah. But other than that stuff up to that point, I am way on board. I love the dialogue being so, like, Italian. It feels like they had, like, Dario Argento write the script and then just translated it into English. I love, like, the gore. I love the background of the killer. I love everything going on with the sorority girls, because instead of having, the one Margot Kidder, you got everybody pretty much just foul-mouthed and drinking and whatnot. You got the one who's drinking too much, who's supposed to be the Margot Kidder type character, but the group that we have, I love. They're very much 2006 college girls. It's awesome. As a guy who was in college in 2006, I very much appreciate them capturing that feel, and I think this movie is good. I think there's a whole lot to be gained from it. Word. I do acknowledge there's some flaws.
Okay, right on, man. Yeah,
we're gonna get to them.
This is so different from the original. It's so different that I don't think that it's even worth comparing or trying to draw a better or worse than the original in any way, because it seems like very much like the original Suspiria versus the remake that we got a couple of years ago.
Oh, sure. Uh-huh.
This is very similarly like flipping the script.
Yeah.
Where, the original, we had no idea who Billy was. This time, you're going to know him. You're going to see him. You're going to know his history.
And they're telling the story very much like we've seen in so many other horror movies, where you're getting the exposition about the killer as we go. So we're learning more and more. But we're seeing him. Like, we're seeing him in the walls. We're seeing him kill people and stuff. It's not like Black Christmas. They're not hiding anything. But I feel like they had to do that, because one of the things Black Christmas 1974 like really centers around is the phone. The landline phone. And that isn't going to fly in 2006. You got cell phones.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the apex of the story in the OG, is that there's these calls coming from an unknown number. Yeah. Who knows who it is? Who knows where they're calling from? But they're saying some pretty bawdy stuff, some pretty potty mouth things on that phone line.
Yeah, and that is like the crux of the movie, is finding out where the calls are coming from, and then the revelation: the calls are coming from inside the house. But it's not going to happen in cell phone days. In fact, we get the calls are coming from inside the house moment about midway through, when our final girl calls the girl that's been missing since the beginning. I can't remember her name. Claire, maybe? But calls her, and then we hear the phone ringing above them in the attic. Like, that's kind of the calls coming from inside the house type of moment. But, you really can't rely on all that. So you got to change it up. You got to come up with something completely new. And I think they did a great job of capturing, because we talked about Black Christmas 1974 having a lot of elements that clearly influence giallo. Yeah. Like, that would influence a lot of things that we would see, as well as being influenced by some of the giallo that had come before it. This movie kind of embraces that feel and gives us everything you'd want from a giallo movie. Eye stuff. Weird looking killer, incest, hot
crazy
brunettes
lighting
all over the place, a crazy lady. Yeah, like you got every element you need for a good giallo movie here, and it just happens to be coming out in Canada in 2006. So, like,
what's interesting about everything that you just pointed out is, I would say between the two of us, I'm probably the bigger fan of giallo movies, right?
That's true. Huh?
Like, I am totally okay with the completely nonsensical dialogue, weird dubbing, gratuitous violence, bizarre, nonsensical lighting, and action scenes and kill scenes. I'm totally on board with all of that. But I can't quite put my finger on why, although I do have a few examples of why this movie does not do it for me. Doesn't do it for me, dude. Like, I really went into this thinking about something you texted me the other day, where you're like, dude, this is like an American giallo movie, and I was so stoked about it. And even watching the intro of the flick, where we have Billy in his jail cell, and it's being lit all crazy with those flashing Christmas lights, which is cool. And I love how, like, it just gives us like momentary glimpses of the killer. And there's the black glove Santa kind of fake out at the start there. I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. This seems kind of giallo. I was really ready to love it, and there's something about it that just, it did not do it for me, man. It seems like this movie is kind of a love it or leave it, right? But it's got a pretty big fan base going for itself.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's got a cult fan base. I don't think there's a lot of people out there singing the praises of Black Christmas 2006, but those of us that are singing them loud, because
you love it long time.
Yeah, well, we're singing the praises of this, I think, because it feels like something was going on in the mid-2000s with some movies, some horror movies, etc., embracing some giallo elements that you don't see a lot in American horror through the 90s. You see it some in the 80s, but not a lot through the 90s. So it was kind of coming back a little bit, but it never hit, because I think the movies that did it, things like Black Christmas and I Know Who Killed Me, like, American audiences, I feel like, need to believe that it sounds stilted and weird because of the bad translation. Yeah. And so what you're doing is you're forgiving just bad writing.
Right.
Like,
totally. Yeah.
You're just absolutely forgiving it, because you're like, oh, it's in Italian to English. Like, so, somebody fucked up along the way.
Someone got lost in translation.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with this, when they're doing intentionally, like, odd dialogue, like, seriously, one of the best moments in anything I've seen in a long time is when Lacey Chabert says, just out of nowhere, in the middle of a very important, like, where's my sister conversation, just, I love that coat. And it is so fucking perfect because it feels like something you'd see in an Argento movie. It feels like it would come out and you'd be like, oh, okay. Well, I guess in Italian that would have made sense. But it wouldn't. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. You're just giving it a whole lot of leeway. Whereas here, because you speak English and it's all in English, it's like, well, why would you do that? Why would you say that at that moment? Because it's funny is why. And it's good. And her line delivery was perfect.
Yeah, it's got its moments for sure, man. And a lot of that comes from the cast, which I can't really complain much about.
Yeah,
There's some heavy hitters in here that you know from a lot of stuff. The aforementioned Mary Elizabeth Winstead, as we said, as
Michelle
well as
Trachtenberg, great.
Michelle Trachtenberg from All That. Why? It took me a while to realize that was her.
Yeah, she's great, man. She's about our age, so we've all grown up together. We remember her from all sorts of Nickelodeon stuff. But yeah, she's really good in this, as well as Lacey Chabert, I think, is doing a great job. Kristen Cloak, who's playing the sort of Margot Kidder role, is doing a great job, really coming across as like bitch, like Margot Kidder tried to really just be so grating and whatnot. And I think Kristen Cloak is doing the same, Kristen Cloak is doing the same of just like really being this I don't give a fuck type of character. And then Andrea Martin as the house mother, who was in Black Christmas 1974, I think is a great choice.
And My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yes, yeah, Andrea Martin's great. I love it every time I see her.
3/4 of the way through the movie, Kate and I had been like, who is she? I know her from something. I can see her in something. And it's like, he don't eat no meat? It's okay. I make lamb. She's great. Yeah, she's awesome. And yeah, she's the house mom in this, which, in the OG, she was kind of the secret lush, always drinking that sherry that she had stored everywhere.
The house mother. Yeah. Sorry. I was like, no, Andrea Martin wasn't that lady. But yes, the house mother was. She's the secret drunk. Yeah. Who's just like got bottles hidden everywhere.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And she's a lot of fun in this too. Her death is really fun.
Her death is so interesting because that, to me, is one of the more giallo moments. To have a death that is unrelated to the events occurring.
Totally unrelated. Possibly related to A Christmas Story. Because there's that thing in that movie about icicles can fall and fucking kill you. Those things kill people every year.
Yeah. So there you go. I think because it's embracing a lot of Christmassy things, because as we said earlier, the leg lamp from A Christmas Story is in the background.
And I don't think we've mentioned that Christmas Story was written by, was it Bob Clark that also wrote the original Black Christmas?
Exactly. Yeah. So they were, and Bob Clark liked the script and was instrumental in getting sort of approval and stuff because he liked what they were doing.
Very much acknowledging his body of work. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're just showing off Bob Clark stuff, which is great. Bob Clark's made 2 of the most iconic Christmas movies ever. That's awesome.
True. Yeah. That's a pretty good winning streak right there for sure, man. So we got a couple other actresses in there too.
Yes, we've got what's her name? The sister that comes in
plays Lee.
Yes, she plays Lee. Oh, she's married to the director. God damn it! I am so bad. Yeah,
I didn't know that. And we've also got Agatha, played by a camera guy.
That's right. We do have that. Agnes, is it, or Agatha? Agnes.
I can't remember.
Yeah, there's a lot of names in this. There's a lot of characters. Yes, Agnes.
Yes, dude.
Is definitely it's one of those kind of like Zelda in the original Pet Sematary, right? Where it's they got a guy to be the ugly, to be the scary, right? And that's, I think, as far as casting goes, it seems like it's being nice, right? To be no, we'll get a guy to be ugly, so we're not telling a woman she's ugly. But it's also you can make a person who's not ugly look ugly. They could have gotten a woman to play it, but I'm okay with it, I think, like, because he really does, like, go all out for the role.
I think he does a good job. Yeah, the voice, I think, is really creepy. I saw a lot of people complaining about, the voice and the mannerisms and all this, and I think it kind of works, honestly.
Yeah, I think so, too. And I don't love the two killers thing, but the reveal that is the little girl who got her eyes stabbed in that super brutal family murder scene.
Oof.
That's the thing about this movie that I just like no one can deny that the gore, the kills, the eye eating, that stuff is so good because it's practical.
I'll tell you, yeah. And there was so many parts in this movie where I found myself kind of tuning out and getting bored and not really being into it. And then some gore would happen, and I'd be like, "Oh shit!" Like I would, audibly exclaim, like, "Oh fuck!" Like that is brutal, man.
Yeah, I mean, so many eyes get plucked out and eaten. We got the Christmas cookies made out of the mom's skin.
Ooh, that's just keto. Yeah. That's just a keto cookie, dude. Like, you want to bring some holiday cheer and keep your carbs down? Skin cookies.
And the thing is that the movie also, like, it's visceral. Like, you have those close shots of Billy's mouth while he's eating the chicken, gross. And then later the close shot of him eating, like dipping the skin cookies in the milk and eating it, and it's so gross. But it's like so like you react to it. Like that's the thing I think about this movie, that like we're talking about 2006, we're in 2023 now, and it's like when I'm watching movies that come out now, I want things to be real. Like, I want to see a real room with real people standing in it and real lighting instead of a filter. And it's crazy that 17 years ago, hearkening back 17 years ago to look at a film and go, you know what? It's shot well on film, and it's got good lighting, and it's got actresses that are just good. They're all good. They're doing their job. Nobody is talking to nothing. There's no green screen. It's all real. So like I think some of that's playing into it too, that it's like hearkening back to this time when at the very least there were still movies coming out like this. And that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. I can't fault it for having like shitty CGI and people acting on green screens and all that. That is true. That is a credit I can definitely give it. You mentioned a second ago that there's a lot of characters in here. And
there are a whole lot.
Dude, the name game in this got so bad to me. It got so bad to me. Like, the movie starts and we're introduced to our killer. We're introduced to one female character that dies immediately. Claire. We're introduced to another female character that dies immediately. And then we have everybody else living in the house, and we're introduced to all of them. At the same time. And
two of them look so much alike.
Very similar.
Seriously, when what's her name? Kelly is our main person. When Kelly sees the sex tape on the laptop, I was like, is that not her?
Dude, both of us. Dude, Kate and I both paused it and we're like, is that her or not her?
Yeah.
And it's like 30 minutes later, you're like, okay, so not her then. I had such a hard time, man. And I watched this like stone cold sober, like I was very attentive. And I just felt like there were so many scenes towards the first of the movie, and they kept going, where it was like the dialogue was like, Meredith, where's Claire? I don't know, but Leah's here looking for Molly. Molly, have you seen Katie? Katie says, no, I'm looking for Beth. Beth is outside with Claire. And it was like, I cannot fucking keep up with who the fuck is who here.
You're
who these names belong to. I had such a hard time. Like, even in my notes, I was like crossing names out, going back and correcting names. The characters were not introduced in any kind of way that gave me any perspective or any idea of who they are. Like a movie like Pulp Fiction has twice the characters that this does. I can name them all by name right now. Yeah. They're so distinct, they're so well defined, and they're introduced in a paced manner. Whereas in this, it's killer, somebody who dies, everybody else at once, and a lot of them look the same. It was really hard to keep up.
I mean, isn't that, though, also the case in so many giallo films where it's like brunette lady, brunette lady, brunette lady? It's just like,
Oh my
I don't
God,
know any
yeah.
of their names or whatever.
Nope.
And I think that, again, if that's everything they were going for, what Glenn Morgan really wanted, and I feel like it is, just bringing out that giallo feel, it does that so well. Because, they could all just be named girl. It wouldn't matter. Like,
Wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. They're all just going to die.
Yeah, totally. And it was really hard to keep track of, like, who are we rooting for here? Even until the last, 15 minutes of the movie, I'm like, who's the main character in this? I got no idea. Maybe Billy's the main character? No clue.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, we end up with, I'm admitting now that I am bad at the names. I just don't
They're interchangeable,
know.
dude. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because earlier I was saying Kristen Cloak instead of Crystal Lowe.
Right, dude, even the real life names.
Even the real life names are the same. Kristen Cloak is the one who plays the older sister. Her, Lee, and Kelly are our final two, right? And then she dies at the hospital, Lee. And you're right, like all the other girls, they look a lot alike. They're all pretty similar. Like, and I think it is just one of these things where it's like their names all get mixed up and whatnot because like he's going for that feel of like I don't even know who's who, but they're all pretty.
Yeah. Well, and I hate to like resort to the use of stereotype characters.
Right.
Like this one's the jock, this one's the party girl, this is the prissy one, whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes that is effective to help you differentiate characters.
And that's what I was going to say is that these characters, they all have the element of Margot Kidder that they say what they're thinking. They say whatever they're thinking and they don't censor themselves, which I think makes them good, like, natural, real characters.
True.
But does not make them distinct.
Not
in
distinct.
Any way.
That's exactly the word, right?
Yeah.
Like none of them are really distinct at all.
Yeah.
Man, it really fucked up my watching of this movie because I was just so confused as to who was who was related to who had gone missing and who was alive, who was in a sex tape, who wasn't.
Yeah.
They were just so interchangeable to me, dude.
The sex tape one I get. All the others, I can distinguish them pretty well, but I don't know what their names are. So I agree with you. Like anytime a name is mentioned, I'm like, who's that again? But
Yeah.
I have watched this movie a lot of times, so I do remember some of them. I know Eve is the one who's kind of like shy and has the big glasses, and they're kind of like throwing the shade toward that maybe this could be a killer.
I was
going
to say the red herrings.
Yeah,
I remember. Like I remember Eve. I remember Kyle,
right?
The dude, the boyfriend guy,
and he sucks. He's
sucks.
the worst. Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But that's why he
take him
stands
out of
out.
the movie? Like, could you just totally eliminate
absolutely.
him and it wouldn't make any difference? Because it's not like there's really anything that his character is for other than a kind of red herring.
Yeah, he's a red herring, though. Yeah, but that's, you get that so much.
But at the same time, dude, it's not him.
No,
like,
of course you know it's
not him doing the killing.
We know it's not him, yes. But I think that, it kind of goes away pretty early on. By the middle, we know it's not him. By the middle, we just know he sucks. Like, he was being shady because he was coming there to probably delete that video off of what's-her-name's computer. Which
I thought that was a cool storyline. That he was like, busting in the room to try to delete this thing off this computer. Like, I was actually on board with that storyline, and then it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of peters out.
Yeah.
But the storyline with Eve gets kind of thrown off pretty early too, because we see she gets killed and they find her head.
So here's the thing about this, man. And we're talking about how this is kind of an American giallo movie, and giallo movies are always about the black gloved killer. Who is it that's doing these murders? What character could it be? It could be any of them. It's like a mystery,
right?
So why would you make a giallo type movie and give the killer an extremely, extremely distinct physical trait that no one else in the movie has: yellow skin, because he has jaundice.
Yeah.
Why would you give the killer that? Because then anytime you see hands that are doing killing and they're not fucking Homer Simpson yellow, you know it's not Billy.
Yeah.
Why even make Billy yellow at all?
I do want, because I know that the second killer was introduced at the insistence of the Weinsteins. So
yes.
What I would say would be your reason would be that you're setting up that there's a second killer, but they weren't originally.
No.
Like, if you are setting up that there's a second killer, then yeah, you show us that guy all you want, and then we are surprised to find, oh, there's somebody else.
I know it's not him. Right.
Right.
Like, I saw
Yeah.
the hands strangling that person. They were not
Yeah.
yellow. Who the fuck
Exactly.
is this?
But that wasn't the original intention, so I think
strange.
it's the intention once you have a second killer that basically, we're seeing the yellow skin doing all this, and then we see this other person, and it's like, wait, what? There's a second killer?
Right.
So I think that's the reasoning there. But yeah, I'm not sure what the reasoning would have been in the original script.
Here's just more mess involved with that I have a problem with. So we have the mystery killer be super identifiable, right?
Uh-huh.
But then we have the fake out secondary killer, which is Agnes, his incestuous daughter, who is not
Right.
yellow skinned.
Yeah.
But they still try to play enough of a fake out by making them both wearing matching like pajama sets.
Right, yeah.
Okay, the fuck why? Because you're watching this
Yeah.
movie and you're seeing, obviously the skin tones don't match, but Billy, yellow-skinned Billy, is wearing these PJs, and I saw the killer in this last scene with not yellow skin, but also wearing the same pajama set. So is this
Yeah.
him or not? Did they fucking coordinate? Did they coordinate like, okay, I'm going to go to Walmart and buy this
Right.
red Christmas pajama set. You be sure to get them too, so that way we can match at the house? What the fuck is going on? That's like just for the camera.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, as I said, the Weinsteins insisted on having a second killer, and it's probably just a matter of, like, Glenn Morgan not exactly wanting to do it and trying to figure out a way to make it work, but
Shoehorning it, yeah.
Yeah, shoehorn it in when it just doesn't necessarily even need to be there. But yeah, they did that kind of late too. Like they had to do some reshoots and whatnot. So like I don't
know why.
I don't know why. Why the Weinsteins do anything they do is
fuck
beyond
them,
us. Yeah, exactly.
As always, whenever we mention them on the show, of course,
fuck them.
Fuck the fucking Weinsteins, go to hell. And this is not the first time on the show that we've talked about a horror movie that has been made where
they
the Weinsteins got involved and they're like, you know what, we don't like this. Let's just fiddle with it and aggravate the fuck out of the director until it's ruined.
Scream 3.
Scream 3. Exact same. I was going to say, we did one recently on the show that ended up getting all shit on because they just insisted on pissing all over it, which, the more you know about them, the more you're like, what fucking god-awful reason was it that they decided to sink a movie?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know at all, but
pretty easy to speculate, but yeah.
Yeah, they certainly made it harder for this movie to make sense, which is it's going to be an issue. Yeah, it's and it also drags the movie at the end too when you feel like you've come to an actual conclusion, and then no, we got to do this now. We got to have the hospital fight because there are two of them, so you only got the one. Now there's the other one, and that ends cool, but all the events that occur there are just kind of like tedious. It feels
Agree.
like.
I love how it ends. Like I love that final image of Billy getting impaled on the Christmas tree and the light shining up,
really
behind
cool.
our final girl. That's really neat. I actually like that. That's kind of like an iconic Christmas slasher moment.
Right.
But then you're like, okay, so they're fighting through the halls of this hospital and passing by nurses and orderlies and shit, and nobody is at all like bothered by this. Nobody notices they're like knocking over carts and screaming and yelling and what the fuck is going on? Come on, dude. It just feels so tacked on. It's like I feel like I was already on a roller coaster, and then at the very end you think you're gliding back into the entryway and it's like, oh, a lift hill, and then one final drop again. Like this is just like paced so
we've already
weird.
done all the fun stuff. Like just pull us into the station.
Let me go already, you know?
Yeah. I agree with that. I definitely agree that like everything the Weinsteins did to the film harms the overall final product. And
there's multiple endings too, right? Like they filmed a bunch of different endings.
Right. Yeah. And I think that if you end with Kelly and Lee being the ones who like survive, they leave Billy and Agnes to die in a fire, and that's it. Like
I'm okay with it. Yeah,
that's fine. That's a fine ending. You don't need to tack on this extra stuff, especially when the original Black Christmas has that like so perfect, just cold, still ending of the killer's still in the house and the phone starts ringing
and the body in the attic with the bag over it. Said the ending of that movie is chilling. I think that's one of the most iconic horror endings
Absolutely.
ever. It is so like unresolved and unsatisfactory and just gross feeling. I love it.
Yeah. And they could have done something with that. They could have had Kelly and Lee leave, and maybe we see Billy somehow like escape or something, and that like there's something to fear about in the ending or something. But no, instead of it being this just like quiet creep, it's the exact opposite. Big like hospital fight scene ending on impaled on a Christmas tree, which again we both agree is awesome,
very cool,
but it doesn't. It seems so unnecessary and so tacked on.
I know, man. And even when it got to those parts where, it's towards the end of the movie, I think I just had to pause it or something. And I was like, wait, there's like 15 minutes left in this.
Yeah.
So, like, I already know there's going to be some huge stinger.
Yep.
Turns out they're alive thing in this. I mean, if you're watching this in the theater, you can look at your watch and know there's still more movie to go.
Right.
So this is not over. Again, it's like looking on the roller coaster and seeing the track in front of you. I know there's still more stuff happening.
Exactly.
So it's not even surprising. But it gets to that scene in the morgue, and it's like, okay, Agnes. I keep saying Agatha. Agnes is alive. What the fuck? That's ridiculous. And then it's like, wait, okay, Billy is alive also. They pulled them out of this burnt down house
and thought they were dead.
Still alive.
Right. Like they both fooled them enough into believing they were dead. That doesn't make sense. But you do get a coroner drinking milk in the the little area there, the mortuary area, which is gross. And we love to see it. Coroners always eating or drinking around corpses. Always.
It hit that stereotype, man. It did.
So that was fun. But it doesn't make sense. It should have only been one. Only one of them should have been alive if you're going to do that. Yeah.
Yep. And you had that weird moment in there where Lee finally opens the Christmas present that her sister gave her, and it's like this watch, and it seems like it's supposed to be significant, and maybe some kind of message about chosen family.
Sure.
Which is great. I mean, I'm a huge, huge proponent of chosen family over blood family. I mean, that's great to me. But then it doesn't really do anything with that.
No. It feels like there must have been something more to that. But we don't know what it is. So, it just doesn't feel very significant in that moment.
No.
I agree. Like, there are so many little issues with the script that make it, like, overall hurt the quality of the film. Like, in major ways. That I feel like if Glenn Morgan had just gotten to make the movie he wanted to make, it probably would have just been solid Christmas horror movie, and we'd all be like, yeah, Black Christmas 2006. Hell
it's
yeah.
Cool one, right? Yeah. Like it definitely had a lot of reverence for the original. There's a lot of little tiny callbacks, and apparently the original wasn't really that violent. Like they really insisted, the Weinsteins that is, insisted that a lot of violence get added to the film, some of which didn't quite make it in. Like there was a scene
Yeah.
where I guess Michelle Trachtenberg like got her eyes popped out and then drugged
Yeah.
down a hallway with
Yes.
dude holding her fucking skull like a bowling ball through her eye sockets. Like that's here's the
cool.
thing. That's so cool and that's
Yeah.
so brutal. And then
Yeah.
I think about how the Weinsteins just wanted to see more women getting decimated,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, gross.
Yeah, they're
fucking gross.
Yeah, gosh, it sucks too because like it could just be fun. Like you can have a movie where because these characters, these women are proactive. They're all doing stuff. Nobody's like a
Damsel, yeah.
damsel in distress or anything. Everybody could be just badass, and so when they die, it's just like anybody dying in a horror movie. But no, as you said, they do seem to revel in it, and they seem to, yeah, especially when it's not the original vision. Nor in when we look back at the original 1974, it's got moments, but not a lot is shown. It's got the scenes up in the attic with the plastic bag over the head and stuff that are like, whoa, that's crazy, but it's also like not that level of violent. But I don't hate it. Like that's the thing is I love the gore. I love what they did because the practical gore that they put together looks so good.
I would not complain about any of the gore in this for sure. It is very graphic. It's very visceral. It's very brutal and sudden a lot of times.
Yeah.
Dude, one shot in here in particular that I was like fascinated by and watched a couple times. There's that scene towards the end where Agnes falls in between the walls.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how they did that. It
looks like
really looks.
A stunt person fell. Yeah.
It looks like they fell and were like bonking their head and limbs down these rafters and shit the entire way down. It looks rough, and I'm like, I guess somebody died for that.
I guess so. I guess they just had to murder a stunt person to get that shot.
And all the bag overhead shots are cool. Like they look very visceral and really instill the panic that you would have if your oxygen supply was suddenly cut off. There's a lot of really well shot scenes in this. I can't fault the director at all for some of the stuff that he did in this, which he also did an episode of X-Files that we talked about on a Patreon-only episode a long time ago.
Yeah, we're talking about Home.
Home, dude. Holy fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
Watch that episode of X-Files.
So brutal.
Oh, man.
They never replayed it. They only played it the original time, never replayed it on
probably because it's fucked
Fox.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's real good. And this kind of has some similarities in some ways with the incest angle and the mother having children with her sons, etc. And that was a twist. Boy, that's a visceral, gross episode. It is oof. But yeah, this does take, and Glenn Morgan and James Wong worked a lot on X-Files, so this has an X-Files feel to it.
A little bit.
Yeah. The guy, honestly, the guy in the walls with yellow skin is something you can see in the Eugene Toombs episodes of season 1.
Right.
So
yes.
There's definitely like X-Files influence in this that I think is probably part of why I enjoy it so much. Like I like that vibe, and I like that they brought some of that into this, though this is sillier and more over the top. Like it's crazy when you get to the gore, like just how unflinching it is, but how it's also kind of silly. Like it's a little bit wacky. Like when he's pulling out the eyeballs, it's just kind of like it just elicits a laugh out of me sometimes because it looks so goofy.
Oh,
but
it's
it
so
looks
over
great.
the top. Yeah. Just unflinchingly brutal that you can't help but laugh and also wince at the same time.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Oh, man. What did you think about getting more backstory about Billy? To me, this was a real Halloween versus Rob Zombie's Halloween kind of thing where...
Well, I like Rob Zombie's Halloween, so...
Right. So you're probably okay with it. Like,
I'm okay with it.
I'm kind of at odds because I love the fact that in the original, and I know I said I wasn't going to compare it to the original much, but I love that unknown, unseen, mysterious presence of Billy. Like, we don't even know that Billy's his name. Like, it's just something that is said on those phone calls a bunch of times in the original. We never see him. We never know anything about him. It makes it very imposing, very, maleficent, just having this unknown presence killing these people in this movie. Whereas in this one, it gives us everything. Almost could make you sympathetic because his childhood is so fucked up. It's kind of hard to hate him, kind of like Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. How do you feel about it?
I think it's great. I mean, I don't think you can do the other thing. It's not possible.
It's already been done. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also not 1974 anymore. It's 2006. Everybody in this has a cell phone. Like, you're just not going to be able to pull the, nobody knows anything about the guy living in our walls. Like,
of course you do. There's the internet. Like, you can pull up how many people have died in that house and find out the whole story instantly. Of course you can, right? It's kind of like the original story is not tellable in the modern world.
Right. Yeah, so all you could do then is do, a period piece, and then what's the point? We've got it. 1974, Black Christmas. It's great. So, yeah, I think it's the only real choice, honestly, was to be like, okay, since we can't keep him in mystery, let's tell a story to reveal who he is, because certainly his upbringing makes us feel bad for him, but then he does stab a child in the eye.
He does do that.
So
his
then
own
we feel
child,
bad
technically,
for the child, and then that child is also a killer. So it's like I don't connect to them getting there. So for me, it's like, I don't feel bad for them. I don't. And it's the same with Rob Zombie's Halloween, in fact. Like, Anna and I were talking about it when we watched it for the Hell Rankers recently, that just like, yeah, you do feel bad for him to a point, but then he does stuff you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So you don't connect to that. So I think that, like, despite the fact they are showing things that make him somewhat sympathetic, in the end, I am not sympathetic to Billy Lenz because he eats eyeballs.
He's also kind of Kemper, isn't he?
Yeah. Ed Kemper was one of the inspirations that Glenn Morgan was, looking toward when writing this character, and you can kind of see that. Edmund Kemper hated his mom, big hatred for his mom. Ended up cutting out her vocal cords and putting them in the garbage disposal. Because he hated her voice so much.
That's a wild story about that fella right there. And there's a lot of interview stuff that we have with him too. That is highly disturbing. Yeah,
because he's intelligent. He's a very intelligent, well-spoken person who did horrendous things.
Very matter of fact about it.
And very matter of fact about it. He's not shy about telling you exactly what he did. Yeah. So I think though that because this is coming out in mid 2000s. We're at the point where true crime is just all over the place on TV and whatnot, and so I feel like that's why you have so many backstories in the remakes of this time. With as we said, this one gives a big backstory. Rob Zombie's Halloween gives a big backstory to Michael Myers. Also, several others, not Friday the 13th, but the Nightmare on Elm Street tries to give like a more in-depth backstory of Freddy Krueger. Like, it's all about trying to, I think, connect to that true crime audience who has heard all the terrible upbringing stories and are titillated by that. So I understand why they were doing it. I also understand why people don't love it, because it draws away a lot of the mystery of the character. And so many of us growing up through the 80s and 90s, we had mystery killers, people who you just couldn't read because, hockey mask or spray painted
Shatner mask.
Shatner mask, yeah. So that's one way of doing things, but I think there's no problem with the other way. It just isn't for everybody. Not everybody's cup
Sure.
of tea to hear the backstory.
Right. Why does Agnes kill? This is one thing I can't
Right,
quite...
that's a good question.
I can't quite put together, especially when
Right.
she teams up with her dad,
Yeah.
brother dad,
Brother Dad.
who I think was a Mick Foley character, right? Brother dad,
Brother Dad.
pretty sure. Like, teams up with the guy who plucked her eye out when she was a baby. I don't really know why she has the motivation. Now, I know why
Yeah.
Billy has it. I mean, he had an
absolutely.
extremely traumatic childhood, but, like, why Agnes? And why would she team up with the guy that caused her
Traumatized her?
trauma?
Yeah,
I
don't
can't
know.
make sense of that.
Yeah, that doesn't connect with me either. I also, and again, that's just because the Weinsteins wanted a second killer. So now you got to make that make sense, and it doesn't really make sense at that point. It's like Agnes. It seems to me the most unlikely thing that Agnes would do would be team up with her brother dad and kill people.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like that would happen to me. So I don't really know about that. There were some problems with the release of this movie. It was a huge flop. In
Yeah.
fact, the director
What?
said, like, if this movie didn't do well, he'd never direct a movie again, and it didn't do well, and he's never directed a movie again.
Well, I mean, it made $21.5 million on a $9 million budget.
That's okay. That's better than I thought.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. I think the reviews wise, it certainly wasn't received well, but I think it probably didn't make enough money for the Weinsteins, I would say.
Well,
They
and
may
that's kind of the factor that I wonder about. Is
Yeah.
like, is it the fact that it didn't make enough money that made him not want to direct again, or is it just his experience working with the piece of shit Weinsteins that made him be like, I don't want to be a
Yes.
part of this industry? That seems more likely to me.
Yeah, seems way more likely to me too. That, especially because he did a good job. Like, he really did a good job. Like, especially compare the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Like, not even close.
Which also
terms of,
stars
like,
one of our
quality.
characters from this, right?
Yeah, not
Oh.
even close though in terms of like quality. So
No.
he did a good job. The Weinsteins they suck. They suck. That's kind of the final conclusion on that. That the Weinsteins suck so much that it wouldn't matter if this movie had made hundreds of millions of dollars. He probably didn't want to work with them ever again.
Didn't want to work with him,
Yeah.
And this suffered something that I've seen other properties suffer from. I've seen my own YouTube videos suffer from, and I can go back and now be like, well, of course. This movie came out on Christmas Day. And
Okay, which is a blockbuster day normally. Like, if people are going
Yes.
to see a movie, it's the family going to see one of the big titles.
Exactly.
Which is probably not Black Christmas 2006. Yeah.
But then the problem is, and again, I'm thinking in my own terms of like years ago on my YouTube channel, I would always release like something very Halloween oriented on, Halloween, like on the
worst day to do it.
The worst day to do it, because
Yeah.
here's the thing:
It's over.
the very next day, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like after the entire, for most of us, like a month worth of being bombarded by Christmas shit,
Yeah.
you release something on Christmas,
Yeah.
the next day it's expired.
Yep.
It's like putting out a fresh fucking jug of your finest milk in the store that expires that day,
Yep.
and it doesn't sell, and you're bummed out. It's like, well, yeah, it's expired tomorrow. Nobody cares about it as soon as it's out.
Essentially,
And,
the
it's a
Weinsteins did
problem.
everything they could to make sure this movie failed.
Exactly, dude. Fuck
All right.
them, man.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah. No, I think yes, you're right. If this had released late November, early December, people would have seen it, maybe. And the people that saw it would have been like, hey, I had a fun time. Good gore.
Yeah.
More people would have went and saw it. Whether or not it's a great movie or not, it's just the type of thing that happens around that time. People have a little free time. Maybe they're out of school, etc. They're going to go see a movie. You're right. On Christmas Day, it's already expired. There's
Yep.
nothing. Nobody's going to talk about Christmas tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
December
we're
28th.
moving on to New Year's.
Are you going to go watch a Christmas movie? Of course not.
No.
I'm done. Christmas is
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. And also, interestingly, releasing it on Christmas caused a backlash among Christians. I mean,
Oh.
what doesn't piss them off?
Yeah,
But,
really.
yeah, they were upset that it was going to be released on Christmas, and so they were threatening to boycott it. Which, of course, like what? So, like, duh, yeah, you're not going to come. I get it.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, you'd have gone to see this if it came out on December 12th. Come on.
Yeah, and also like the answer that people gave to them was pretty obvious. Like, horror movies have been coming out around Christmas forever. In fact, ghost stories and horror tales are a part of Christmas. This movie itself says that. There's a line in here about how the Christmas season is in fact about haunted and horrid tales. That's what it's always been about. It's just you war on Christmas weirdos that think it's about Mariah Carey and shopping.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of A Christmas Carol? It's about ghosts.
It's about ghosts. It's about a guy who is terrible, and ghosts say, hey, if you don't fucking stop, you're going to die alone. And he's like, oh, shit, I better change my life.
Well, hell, you want to go fucking way back? I mean, if you're even like, no, it's about Jesus. What's he become? A fucking ghost.
Ghost.
Of course he does.
And a
Whole thing's about
zombie.
ghosts. Yeah, and a zombie. It's probably the most horror of all holidays.
Wow, good point, man.
It really is. Ghosts, zombies, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, like, you're right. Like, the issues with the film, I think, would have been overlooked because of how fun everything else is. If this had been released in a timely fashion, and if the Weinsteins had not interfered and insisted on a second killer, this would probably be a Christmas horror movie that people talk about. Whether it would ever be anyone's absolute favorite or not, I don't know. But it would be one that people remember fondly. But the Weinsteins, they have to meddle. They have to come in and screw with everything. And that does make a less good film in the end, and also caused it to not make as much money as it definitely would have if it had been released a little bit earlier. But I still have a fun time with it. I still enjoy it.
I'm glad you do. Like, I really, really wanted to, especially after watching the trailer and seeing that it looked like a fun Christmas slasher giallo kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was really stoked to watch it, and then when we turned it on, I don't know, like, it was just all this name game, interchangeable characters. Who the fuck is any of this? I know the killer is not the killer because he's yellow for no fucking reason. Like, just make him not jaundiced, and then it's mysterious. Why did you do that? I cannot figure that out.
Well, because that they didn't plan to have two killers while they were
exactly
making the movie.
right.
So
yes.
Again, we got answers for your questions, and there was no solution because the producers fucked it. Like,
totally
the answers
fucked it
are there. Glenn Morgan would have made a much better movie if he could have.
I think it's so weird, man, that like the Weinsteins absolutely sabotaged work that their name was attached to.
They had just done it,
foiled
a few years before with Scream 3.
Like, on purpose. They knew.
They did it so many times, and it's like ego. They probably just wanted to say that they made a decision about the film. And so they made a stupid fucking decision and then forced it because they need to feel like they're in charge and have power. It's
such pieces of shit, man.
Yeah, it sucks.
Fuck them, man. Yeah. Fuck them. Yeah, so it's disappointing that their involvement in it changed the original vision, which was, apparently heralded and really supported by the original creator of this franchise.
Bob Clark liked it, so it probably would have been a better movie. And again, as we see, it's undoubtedly Glenn Morgan shoots a good movie, and the movie looks good. So, like, I think we could have had a better version of this, but the version that we have is one that I find entertaining. It's we're coming to rating this, I would assume, right? Yeah, it's it's not above the original. It's certainly not above some of my other favorites, like the Finnish one. Damn it,
Oh yeah,
that one.
Fuck. What is that called? Holy shit! We did it on the show.
Forgot. Yeah.
What's the matter with us?
I don't know. It's not above that or something like Krampus. Krampus is one I certainly love, but it's for me. It's in regular rotation now. Every Christmas, I am watching it along with something like Anna and the Apocalypse, which I know you also don't like.
Right.
But I very much find this entertaining and fun, and I like the cast so much. Like it, I just think like this is probably the hottest cast you could put together in 2006. I'm just thinking. Mm-hmm. And that to me is fun. And then the gore, and I like the backstory. Don't love the ending. I'd say for me it's like it's above average, but we've talked about it. It's got its problems. I would say like a 6 to a 6.5 for me. Yeah.
I'm glad that you like it. I'm glad that you found another Christmas horror movie slasher that you dig, that you'll enjoy year after year. I don't see myself revisiting this one. I had such a problem with how interchangeable the characters are and how the name game just got ridiculous. The pacing of the movie was really odd to me, and some of the editing choices, which, again, I acknowledge are probably not the director's original vision, but more due to studio interference.
Sure.
There's so many scenes where it's like 5 seconds with this character, and then total scene change. Now we're with this character for 10 seconds, then we're back over here. Now we're back over here. It's like very ADD in the editing choices, and I don't think that that's any fault of the director. I think that is just them trying to tell the story that the studio made them tell, which is a bummer. You know, I can only rate this as what I saw, because I never saw the original vision of what this was supposed to be. But yeah, I had a hard time with a lot of the things in this movie, even though there were good moments. There was some great cinematography. The lighting was really cool. There were some shots that were really, I don't know, just oddly weird. Like I said, the falling through the wall scene was sick. The scene where we have young Billy escaping out of the attic and like crawling down that hall, something about that was really weird to me that I enjoyed seeing. That was like a moment that stuck out in my head. So it's clearly made by somebody who has chops. And then there's other scenes like when, like the girl who's like a lush, she was in bed asleep, and one of the killers, I think Agnes, like crawls into bed with her, and it was just all these like scenes of like rustling sheets. I could not tell what the fuck was going on, and I think that was just stuff that had to be reshot, added into the movie. Due to the demands of Harvey and Bob Weinstein.
That was on purpose. They weren't showing us what was happening, and then later her arm is over her eyes. So again, we don't know what happened, then the reveal. I think this is a movie that if you watch a second time in a few years when you've forgotten about it, you're going to be like, why did I hate this again?
Who knows, man? I do that with movies sometimes, you know? But for me, first time watch, wasn't in love with it. I'm going to go like a 3 on this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Bit lower, but maybe that's not the opinion of our loyal and lovely listeners. Maybe we need to find out from them over on our Facebook page.
That's right. Head on over there
with your boys.
Mm-hmm. We got that Facebook. We got the Instagram. We got all the whatnots over there on the Linktree page. Linktree/Dead and Lovely.
Yeah.
But also, guess what we got?
Patreon.
Patreon. Head on over there. There's a episode up, Hell Rankers of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theatrically released movies. Well worth listening to. Anna and I had a blast recording it. Also, if you become a patron on a $5 level, you get to throw a movie into the smoking bowl, and then we cover the movie that we draw out of the smoking bowl once a month on the show. We just did it with Society just last week.
Hell yeah. Maybe the next could be yours, so don't delay. Sign up today, and also be sure to follow us on Instagram and all that other shit you can find on Linktree, and listen to the next episode of the show in which we're covering a movie which I kind of can't believe we haven't done yet.
Yeah. Well, it's always about when to do it. Because some people say it's a Halloween movie and some people say it's a Christmas movie. And I say it's both because it starts at one and ends at the other. It's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Finally, how about we get to that one and we'll give it a good old chin wag and talk about this goth boy, goth girl classic on the next installment of Dad and Lovely, in which I shall be Uncle Ben.
And I'll probably still be Hollywood Steve.
Maybe. We'll see how it turns out.
We'll see how, maybe I'll change it up. Maybe I'll become, Prince changed his name to a symbol. I'll change my name to Prince.
Pretty neat. Maybe we do
go.
that. You'll have to tune in next week to find out. We'll catch you then. Bye.
Bye.
Now, I've had something on my mind this week, with it being the holiday season and all. I just want to point out something that I think is extremely unfair, okay?
Okay, point out.
I'm here to bring justice to things that I think are not being done right. I'm here just to try to make things fair.
I know that about you, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody's beloved Christmas favorite, A Christmas Story, right? We got little Ralphie, You'll Shoot Your Eye Out. Mm-hmm. And, of course, since that movie, everybody has been all crazy about that leg lamp, right? It's like, a leg lamp, Christmas Story, fishnet leg with the light bulb at the top and stuff.
It's in the very movie that we watched today.
That's true. That is very true, yes. And again, it's given a free pass, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but fucking Ed Gein does it, and everybody's in an uproar. Come on.
That's a good point.
Why is one leg lamp okay and another one is monstrous?
You know what it is? It's the people that have the balls to be outsiders, and they're the first to come across ideas like leg lamp.
That's true. It's always the innovators, right?
Yeah, then it's like, burn him at the stake, and then 20 years later, we're all
Maybe
doing
some leg lamp. Maybe some leg lamp. Maybe we'll try this out.
Hey, what about a leg lamp? Hey.
Is that Jimmy Stewart? Was he a leg lamp aficionado?
Jimmy Stewart probably had a leg lamp. Probably, I'm thinking.
It's unfair, and I just want to see it stopped right here.
No, I'm with you. We need to get a petition going.
Leg lamps. Normalize leg lamps. Okay?
I mean, what? Okay. Let's just say, for instance, somebody loses a leg. We're just supposed to throw that away? We're not
really,
supposed
right?
to, put some electrical wiring inside and turn it into a lamp?
It's called upcycling. Look it up.
Look it up. Okay?
Don't be mean to Gein. Don't be mean to Gein.
We're Ed Gein supporters now.
We've turned the page, and it's all in the name of justice.